Hello, my friends. We are back again, and today we will speak about a woman. Yes, it is a woman who played a main role in the Third Reich. Hitler's favorite pilot, Hanna Reitsch. This is the name we will speak today. It is a completely different type of woman, like or than those we have encountered so far in this series, where we spoke about the different women, the woman type supporter, yeah, older lady, a lot of money, a lot of influence, helping Adolf Hitler in his beginning. And then we had the very young woman who was figuring like a target for Hitler's appetite. Yeah, this is maybe the right word. We don't know the ambitions of Hitler exactly. His sexual life in the background is still today a mystery. But Hanna Reitsch is different. Hanna Reitsch is a type of enthusiast pilot, and this is the main thing she's interested in. She was not a supporter, not a lover, not a rock solid politician. She was a pilot, and a pilot forever, and one who proved to be better than men in this male dominated profession. More precisely, we can say in an extremely male centered field. After all, everybody imagine a classic pilot from the Lufthansa or an astronaut stepping on the moon as a man. During the era of National Socialism, the most powerful and most successful pilot was nobody else than Hermann Göring. Hermann Göring, maybe the second man in the Reich, like after Adolf Hitler. Some say it was Himmler, and but Göring was officially the second one. And Göring began his career as a pilot, as a successful pilot, maybe one of the most successful pilots in the first in World War One in Germany, and then entered politics in an almost opportunistic manner. Yes, opportunistic is the right word for Hermann Göring. Hanna Reitsch, however, remained a pilot until the end of her life, even in old age, when others had already retired, like Göring retired. We know Göring was no more the sportsman he was in his younger years. He was excessively, yeah, I will not say fat, but he was somebody who was, living a lifestyle which is not very healthy from the diet perspective. And Hanna Reitsch entered the world of records. She continued breaking world records until the end of her life. But there is also a darker side to all of this. Yeah, there's always a darker side of this. My opinion is that Homo sapiens and our species have always also a darker side. It is part of our psychology. Nobody is 100% nice and clear, and I don't know. Her courage, fearlessness, and perhaps naivety when we can say it like this, and fighting spirits led her at times directly to participate also in the regime's crimes. For example, in training suicide units or as a test pilot for Nazi wonder weapons in the V1 and V2 program when they planned two bombardments of London again. Yeah, like before the end of the world. Who was this woman is now the question. Let's say some bio data. Hanna Reitsch was a German test and sport pilot, as I said. She was born on March 29 in 1912, so a little bit before the start of World War One. She was born in Hirschberg, Silesia, and died on August 24 in 1979 in Frankfurt am Main in West Germany. Her parents' house in Silesia still stands today. Hirschberg is now located in Lower Silesia, Poland, near the Czech border. The town is now called in Polish Jelenia Góra. Her father was a respected and successful ophthalmologist who ran a private clinic in Hirschberg. Ophthalmologist is a guy who is dealing with eyes, everything around eyes. In her autobiography, Fliegen mein Leben, Flying My Life, first published in 1951, Hanna describes her father, the doctor, almost as a fairy tale like passionate doctor who, although he taught at a university as a professor, he always, also when he gave lectures, he always thought about his patients. Yeah, so like a very idealistic type of guy. Her father tried from an early age on to convince her or to train her, to bring her to choose a medical career. Like an ambitious father, it's typical, yeah, we have it until today, where the fathers and mothers try to train their little babies in advance, so they will later on be successful in their career, as fathers tend to do even today. And even brought home, so the father of Hanna Reitsch even brought home animal eyes from cows from the butcher, so that Hanna could practice surgery on them like a child at home. Yeah, that was training on the target. Nevertheless, the family had a conservative mindset and considered a woman's primary role to be childbearing and housework. So the wife that is cooking for his husband who came tired from work. Hannah probably already showed her emancipated spirit at that time, since, as she herself writes, she wanted to become a doctor like her father. Yes, okay, she said, yes, I will become a doctor, but I will do it different. I will to be a flying missionary as a pilot in Africa. It's interesting that we have a lot of other Nazi figures who later become infamous and like brutal figures and responsible for crimes. Also, they sometimes initially wanted to help. They wanted to appear socially responsible and wanted to stand up for the disadvantaged. So also they use such an idealistic mindset. The SS physician, for example, later sentenced to death Karl Brandt, for example, initially wanted to work in Albert Schweitzer's African mission. And then we have the young Hans Frank, the later so-called king of the Polish government. The Nazis called him king of Poland. The government, general government, he was there the boss. And this was also the territory where the largest number of concentration camps stood. So on his grounds, he was like the highest authority there in this time. Also, Hans Frank, who was initially also the personal lawyer of Adolf Hitler and the personal lawyer of the political part of DAP and later NSDAP. Also, he, in his youth, like a student, stood for the poor, and tried to help the poor, he said. And he collected even money during his student years, even for Jewish refugees from Russia. Yeah. Yeah, let's go on. Her father, the father of Hanna Reitsch, well, he was speaking about. Nevertheless, he tried to dissuade her from flying. It was not a thing the father wanted to see, because I can understand it. Flying was in this time, it was not safe. It was not safe. Hannah probably talked about it from morning until evening that she wanted to be a pilot. She was very passionate about this. And this, we can imagine, annoyed the father, since in the 1930s, as I said, flying was more dangerous than it is today. In the end, her father offered her a deal. He said she had to stop thinking about flying. She had to stop talking all the time about this dream. And to change her the mind, he had an idea. If she successfully finished school and did not talk about flying at all, no word about flying, he said, if you no word, even a word about flying, you shut your mouth about flying. Yes, then you have finished the school successor, not talking about flying. Then I allow you as a reward to enroll in the flight school in Grünau. So it's an interesting thing. When you are not talking about flying, not thinking about flying, then as a reward you will get that you can enroll in the pilot school. Yeah, it was an interesting parental tactic, something we probably all maybe encountered in our own lives when the parents tried to motivate us for something. In my case, it was like an example when I had problems in school, and then it was if I will be accepted on the secondary school or not. Then they said, yes, if you do that and you learn so and so, then you will get a dog. Yeah, because I always talked about dogs. Yeah, that's like similar. Hannah's father, however, had an ulterior motive. He thought, as Hannah herself writes later in her memories, that his daughter would not be able to keep her mouth shut. So the father thought, I know she will not be able to shut her mouth. She will not be able to take this. Yes, she will not be able. So she will never enroll in this school. Yeah, that was his plan. But she probably Hannah Reitsch suffered from a sort of psychological hyperactivity here. I say that it's something that she also stated in her own autobiography when she said that I had something like an urge to be active all the time, and I was nervous about this. I have a nervous system, and so I tried to calm myself down with spiritual exercises. This is what Hanna Reitsch also said. She also said that she mentioned Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuit order. She mentioned him as a role model and claims that she learned the techniques from the writing from Ignatius Loyola. Yeah, this is maybe a fairy tale, we don't know. After elementary school, in preparation for medical studies, she was sent to a colonial school in Rendsburg, in the province of Holstein in north of Germany, where she learned practical skills, but also languages as English, Spanish, and also the African Swahili. That because she planned to work in Africa as a missionary. After the 1 year break in northern Germany, her father had to fulfill his promise because she shut her mouth. She were not speaking about. She finished also the school. Then the promise was that Hanna Reitsch flying career began and she could enroll in the flying school in Grünau in Silesia. Yeah, the school today called Jezus Sudecki in Poland. And now we will see how her career began. Yes, my friend.